Support for this podcast comes from the law firm of Davis Malm. Whether you're a developer, property owner, manager, or commercial tenant, their real estate attorneys know the lay of the land, not just the law. Learn more at davismalm.com.
WBUR Podcasts, Boston.
I'm Daryl C. Murphy, and you're listening to The Common. Candice Springer, Assistant Director for WBUR CitySpace.
Or in your earbuds.
Yeah. Yo, welcome back.
Thank you.
It's the monthly segment.
Yes,
Things
indeed.
to do.
So exciting.
This one's a little bittersweet.
That's
Sweet
true.
for some,
That's
bitter
true.
for others.
Yes.
Because September is a month of transition.
Change.
We're coming out of summer.
Yes.
And we're headed towards the fall.
I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about y'all.
As am I. As am I. But we got to get through September.
We do.
We got to wrap up summertime.
And there's a lot of stuff still
There's a
happening.
lot of things to do. I understand you're taking us indoors early to the theater.
Theater is back in Boston, and I could not be happier.
For real. You guys are going to see Candice like flying through the city.
From venue to venue.
Her powers.
And I want you all to come with me.
So where you starting us off?
All right. Ready for the first one?
Hit it.
The first is a comedy, you know?
I love a good comedy.
And it's called POTUS. It actually has a longer name, which is POTUS, or Behind Every Great Dumbass Are 7 Women Trying to Keep Him Alive. And that's happening from September 15th through October 15th, so a nice long month at the Calderwood Pavilion in the South End, and it's being put on by SpeakEasy Stage Company.
Nice.
It is really hilarious with a lot of hijinks, and essentially it celebrates women who are keeping things running behind the scenes, particularly in a place called the Oval Office.
There's going to be a lot of hijinks in this, I'm sure.
Exactly. So it focuses on 7 brilliant and beleaguered women who are in the president's inner circle. We've got the chief of staff, the press secretary, we've got the personal secretary, the White House reporter, the mistress, and the first lady, and even his sister. And you know what? Play starts off with, of course, a PR nightmare. The president, who is never seen on stage in this play, he ends up getting in trouble because he uses a very crass word to describe women.
Oh, boy.
To describe his wife.
Oof.
But then what happens in one single day is a series of scandals that actually almost lead to a global crisis. And who can help us with that? All of the people who actually are doing the job behind the scenes, right? And just sort of like thinking about what women have to go through when maybe the men in their lives do bad things, right? The playwright of this play, her name is Selena Fellinger, that was really her inspiration. And this was her Broadway debut. It opened in 2022, all-star cast. It's just deeply funny. So if you want to tee-hee-hee all night, this might be the one for you.
Tee-hee. Okay. All right. So that is POTUS. And that's going to be where?
That's going to be at the Calderwood Pavilion in the South End.
September 15th to October 15th.
Exactly.
All right. What else you got?
This one is controversial.
Perfect. Perfect.
You know, when Stephen Sondheim, who is a beloved music and lyricist of Broadway, died in 2021, I knew that there were going to be theater companies, big and small, who were going to mount all of his productions in tribute to him and as a way to revisit his work. And so one of those that is coming out here in Boston is Assassins.
Okay.
This one is happening at the Lyric Stage Theater. It's put on by Lyric Stage Company, also in the South End. And it's a musical, but it's dark. This show is about murderers. And not just any murderers.
The murderers.
Famous murderers or attempted murderers of presidents.
So we're going to see Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yes.
John Wilkes Booth.
Exactly. And it's really weird to put yourself in the place or in a position where you have to be faced with folks who did bad things, right?
Yeah. That feels timely, though. That
It
feels like a
does.
timely discussion to be having because
Yeah.
of a lot of extremism that we're seeing in
Well,
America
that's the
now.
thing I'm interested about with this musical is because it came out in the 1990s.
Yeah.
And when it came out, it got mixed reviews. It wasn't a total flop, but people were unsettled by, having to sort of sit there and listen to famous figures like explain their motivations for wanting to kill presidents.
Yeah.
And also, the music is so good.
Mhm.
The music is catchy. It's upbeat.
Yeah.
And so how do you sit there and wrestle with that? And how do you wrestle with it today, knowing that we had an insurrection
Right.
recently? To give an example, there's a song in this musical called Gun Song. And it, I think, kind of actually paints the best picture about what you could experience from this musical. I mean, it's deeply unsettling what the character is singing about, but also delightful. How do we have both of those things at the same time?
It's America, baby.
Exactly.
What a wonder is a gun. What a versatile invention. First of all, when you've a gun, everybody pays attention. When you think what must be done, think of all that it can do. Remove a scoundrel. Unite.
That is delightful. But dark as hell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel. I want to laugh at that. I'm cringing. And also, I want to listen to that song 10 more times.
It's art.
That's Assassins for you.
Yeah. I like art that is
Challenging.
a conversation
Yes,
starter.
it is a conversation. I mean, I'm expecting to be totally uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And especially as a Black woman, hearing a song like that.
Well, to that, I wonder, has it been updated?
That's a good
Because
question.
it's an old play,
Yeah.
there might be language issues there.
Right. And I believe that there was. And also, this play has been canceled in history multiple times, after major school shootings in the country. I believe that there was original use of the N-word in this play. So it'll be really interesting to see if Lyric Stage is presenting kind of the unfiltered version of this, or if they're going to update it for our modern history. In a way, I would be open to either or, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back.
Politics has never been stranger or more online, which is why the politics team at Wired is making a new show, Wired Politics Lab. It's all about how to navigate the endless stream of news and information and what to look out for. Each week on the show, we'll dig into far-right platforms, AI chatbots, influencer campaigns, and so much more. Wired Politics Lab launches Thursday, April 11th. Follow the show wherever you get your podcasts.
And we're back. Okay, Candice, thank you for those two recommendations. I know you have one more for us, and I understand this one is going to help us get into a mindset for the spooky season, right?
Yeah, we'll start it off a little bit with this one, but it's also probably the best play that I have seen all year, too.
Ooh,
oh, yeah.
That's big. That's big. You see a lot of plays.
This one is so good. It's called Fat Ham, and it starts on September 22nd, also runs for a month through October 22nd at the Calderwood Pavilion. There are multiple theaters in that building.
Nice.
It's the first show in the Huntington Theater Company's new season, and my God, if there is any play that you see this season, and there's going to be a lot of good ones, please go see this. It is a riff on Hamlet. This one is absolutely an update. What if you took Hamlet and you set it in the backyard at a cookout of a Black family in the South, right? This show is so hilarious. It is, the main character is named Juicy. He's a queer Southern college kid. He's grappling with issues of identity. And then all hell breaks loose because his father, who he had a complicated relationship with, just died. And what does his mother decide to do? get remarried to his uncle, right? Who is actually maybe more problematic than his father.
Right.
And not only does that happen, but as you mentioned, spooky season, Juicy is visited by the ghost of his father right when this cookout is underway. And he says, "Avenge my death. I was murdered." So the story ends up becoming, a story of love and loss and pain. How do you reconcile with trauma? How do you forge a new path? And also is really a condemnation of toxic masculinity in all of its forms and embracing your true, genuine self.
Love it.
The end of that show, I was out of my seat, on my feet, screaming at the top of my lungs, just cheering.
No way.
Yeah, it's so good.
Wow. Okay, that's Fat Ham, September 22nd through October 22nd at the Calderwood Pavilion. Candice, thank you for those recs.
You're welcome.
But you are the assistant director for CitySpace.
Some would say.
We got to bring it home to WBUR. And I know this is a big time of year for CitySpace.
Yes. Fall season tickets, as you may have heard in the last episode, are on sale now. So we have got a lot for you all to enjoy. But let's keep it in the same theme, right?
Okay.
Of theater.
Okay.
On September 13th, we are partnering with the Boston Lyric Opera to have a conversation around Madama Butterfly or Madame Butterfly, which is a very popular opera from Puccini, but is also known as, how do I put this?
That one is problematic.
Yeah, you said it for me.
Okay.
You said it for me. It is, often portrays harmful representations of Japanese culture in particular and contributes to stereotypes of Asians and Asian Americans. I mean, it's beloved, but actually within the Asian and Asian American communities, they're not a fan. They're not a fan.
Yeah.
So the Boston Lyric Opera has said, you know what? We want to remount this thing. We want to re-envision what this opera could look like in the spirit of embracing our classics, because the music is beautiful, but just rewriting it so that it's more reflective of the world that we live in now.
Yeah.
And the best part is we're actually going to preview 2 arias from the show. So you'll get a little taste of Madame Butterfly, the new version, if you are not necessarily committed to seeing it yet. And then maybe that'll tease you into wanting to go see it at the Colonial Theater.
I love it. Okay. What else?
Let's talk about running.
I like running.
You're running a lot.
I'm doing some running out here.
Boston is a city where people do that thing, right?
Yeah.
May not be me, but we have decided that we want to embrace that at CitySpace as part of a new series that we're calling Field Trips. And this is inspired by a project that is coming out of WBUR called Field Guide to Boston, which I think some folks who have been listening may have heard about with our friend Simone Rios.
Yep.
Our sort of spin-off of this is to create a series of meetups at CitySpace that are based on things that people just like to do.
Right.
So on September 29th, we are creating a running club. We have created a 1.1 mile route around CitySpace that we have charted for everybody to run. And we're going to bring in a whole bunch of running clubs from Boston that you can meet and interact with. And then after the run's over, we're going to have snacks. And say you're not a runner like I am, you can walk. It's only a mile. I think we can all do it.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there with my running shoes on.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun. We're excited to do something different this year with CitySpace, and the Field Trip series is definitely that.
Well, with that, Candice, as always, thank you so much for coming through to The Common.
See you next time.
That's Assistant Director for WBUR CitySpace, Candice Springer. And that's our show for today. Thank you so much for listening to The Common. If you like what you're hearing, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts, especially Apple or Spotify. Rate and review us. It would help us a lot, and we would really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much ahead of time. And if you want to get in touch with us, hit us up on Instagram at WBUR The Common, or send us an email at thecommon@wbur.org. And now, it is that time for me to let you know that The Common is produced by Caitlin Harrop and Franny Monahan. It's mixed by Emily Jankowski, Matt Reed, and Paul Vaitkus, and it's edited by Samata Joshi and Ben Brock Johnson. And our theme music is me, from Hisu. And from the newsroom of WBUR, I'm your host, Daryl C. Murphy. I'll talk to you soon.